A young man who was in the care of Oranga Tamariki Youth Justice Facilities claims he did a deal with staff allowing them to beat him up in return for chocolate.
It comes after a wide-ranging review resulted in 28 staff complaints referred to police and disturbing footage showing staff facilitating fights between young men in state care. Nick Truebridge has this exclusive report.
Kids are supposed to be safe behind the wire at Manaki. This mum tells us her son was anything but.
All of a sudden, your kid's in this place that is pretty horrific for them to experience, and there's nothing you can do about it. You have to sort of step back and watch and hope for the best, and then the best becomes a nightmare, and you end up here doing this, trying to get some sort of justice for a system that is failing.
Her boy is a former resident at the Whitty Youth Justice Facility that's been the scene of multiple escapes. And in July, we revealed staff were facilitating MMA fights. Now we've been sent a video chat between this mother and her son, whose identities we're protecting. The boy alleges being assaulted by those meant to protect him.
I made a deal with the staff for 5 chocolate bars to do 20 seconds of body shots.
Body shots are punches to the body, and in this case the claim is that staff gave the kids candy in return for a beating. He also suggests youths were told fighting was all good here at Manaki.
The only time that I was ever hit by staff will be in sparring, and that's allowed. Sparring's allowed, like with proper boxing gloves.
He says in return for letting them hit him, he was given chocolate. Mum says it's heartbreaking and she felt helpless.
It's a bit of a shock initially, and then you get really angry and incredibly sad, and I felt hugely helpless. There wasn't a lot I could do.
There have been multiple calls to shut these residences down since these scenes surfaced earlier this year. We asked the Minister if he thinks these sites are safe.
That's why we brought in Mike Bush to do his review. He's produced it. There have been, I think, 22 staff who have been stood down because of unacceptable behaviour.
So was that a yes, they are safe places now?
There has been huge improvements since we asked Mike to go in and review.
The opposition calls the quality of care unacceptable.
And so there are major questions to be asked about the quality and the calibre of staffing and management and leadership, and that's where I'd be going.
Parents on the outside have a message for those in charge.
You're a failure. I don't know if I could say it quite that nicely if I was sitting across from someone who I know has been involved in the treatment of my boy.
These residences are advertised as safe, secure and supportive, far from the experience of some parents and their children.
Wow, OK, Nick, what have you heard from Oranga Tamariki today? What have they had to say about this?
Yeah, in short, Sam, not a lot, you'd have to say. Obviously, there's sort of 2 issues here. One issue is providing the kids with chocolate bars in return for body shots, effectively blows to the body, right? That is one issue. That's obviously not right. There's also the issue of whether sparring is allowed between staff and residents at these places. We're still waiting on answers there, but we do have a short statement from Mike Bush. He's saying that this sort of behaviour is inappropriate. He's also acknowledging that in the past, staff or young people or whānau may have felt unsupported or even unsafe when it comes to reporting these types of incidents. That's pretty telling because during these investigations, time and time again, the parents I've spoken to, the kids I've spoken to, have been extremely nervous about what might happen to them if they do speak out. That speaks to a system that is completely wrong when it comes to reporting. So we will be following up on that. We'll also be following up on what experience these staff members actually had to have before they came face to face with these kids. No answers on that yet. And we're also chasing up how many have been sacked over the sorts of scenes we saw in that story.
Nick, tēnā koe.